Good morning, grade 8. How are you doing today? Hope you are fine. Our lesson today is called Properties of Special Parallelograms, Chapter 6, Lesson 4. We're going to learn more about rectangles and about rhombus because all of them are kinds of parallelograms. So our objective is to prove and apply properties of rectangles, rhombuses, and squares. Use properties of rectangles, rhombuses, and squares to solve problems. Okay, girls? A second type of a special quadrilateral is a rectangle. Special quadrilaterals, we learned the parallelogram. The next one, the second one, is a rectangle. A rectangle is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles. 4 right angles. This is the difference between the rectangle and the parallelogram. The rectangle, the 4 angles are 90 degrees. Each angle is 90. So of course the two corresponding are equal and the two consecutive are supplementary. So they are all have the same properties of the parallelogram, but only difference between rectangle and parallelogram that all the angles of the rectangle, each one is 90 degrees. Okay, let's start to learn the properties of the rectangle. Theorem 641. If a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then it is a parallelogram. The rectangle is a parallelogram because it has all the properties of the parallelogram. And more property that all the angles of it are 90 degrees. Again, if a quadrilateral is a rectangle, then it is a parallelogram. So the rectangle is a parallelogram. Second property, if a parallelogram is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. A, C is congruent to B, D. So now we learn that the parallelogram is a rectangle. The only difference that the angles of the rectangle, the 4 angles, each one is 90 degrees. What else we learned? That the two diagonals of the rectangle are congruent. AC is equal to BD. AC is equal to BD. Since a rectangle is a parallelogram, by the theorem 641, a rectangle inherits all the properties of the parallelogram. Since the parallelogram is a rectangle and the rectangle is the parallelogram, so it takes all the properties of the parallelogram. Okay, let's see here the first example. An artist connects stained glass pieces with LED strips. In this rectangular window, the strips are cut so that FG is equal to 24 inch and FH is equal to 34. Find JG. So it is mentioned that it is rectangle in this rectangular window. So it is mentioned that it is rectangle. So I have here, let me write on the figure, it is better. Okay, FG is 24 and FH, all FH is 34 and JG, they want to get JG, half of it, half of the diagonal. Okay, since EG is congruent to FH, EG is congruent to FH. Why they are congruent? Because it is one of the properties of the rectangle that the two diagonals are congruent. The two diagonals are congruent. So here are the two diagonals of the rectangle, this one and this one. They are congruent. So EG is equal to FH. FH is equal to 34, so EG is equal also to 34. Okay, JG, this one that is required is half EG. Because, why? Because we said that the rectangle is a parallelogram. So it takes all the properties of the parallelogram. And one of the properties of the parallelogram that its diagonals bisects each other. Bisects each other, that this one is equal to this one. And this one is equal to this one. So since it is all 34 and the diagonals bisects each other, so 34 is divided by 2 because it is divided into 2 equal parts. So 34 divided by 2 is equal to 17. So JG is equal to 17. Okay, girls? Repeat it or got it? Okay. Let's solve this one. Okay. Okay, please solve 1A and 1B and send me your answers. You have a triangle here, a rectangular gate has diagonal braces, find each length. They want to get HJ and they want to get HK. Yes, mice. 1A, yes, correct. 1A is correct. What about 1B? Yes, excellent, mice. Excellent, mice. 1A and 1B are correct. Excellent, mice. Okay, Tala, 1A is correct. 1B, please check it again. How I will get 1A? 1A, it is required to get HJ. HJ, since it is rectangle, so HJ is congruent to GK. So GK is 48, so HJ is 48 also. 48 inch. Okay, what about HK? How I will get HK? Let me read this answer. 1B, okay, no. Okay, Tala, just try to solve it with me now. Okay, HK. How I will get HK? I have here JK and GK. I have this one. I have this one. And I have this one. I want to get HK. HK is equal to GJ because diagonals of the rectangle are congruent. So HK is equal to GJ. Let's get GJ. Why I want to get GJ? Because J is in the right triangle JKG that has two given lengths, which is 30.8 and 48. 30.8 and 48. Do you remember from the first term Pythagorean theorem? If I have here a right angle, so this triangle is a right triangle, so the hypotenuse, the side that is in front of the right angle, it has a value. How I will get it? This side squared is equal to the sum of the other two sides squared. Again, from Pythagorean theorem that we learned in the first term, if I have a right triangle, yes, I have here a right triangle because the angle of the rectangle is 90 and this part is from the rectangle. Okay, so I want to get the measure of the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side that is opposite to the right angle. So the measure of the hypotenuse, JG squared, J squared is equal to JK squared plus GK squared. Okay, so I have JK. JK is 30.8 plus 48. All of them is squared. So when I get this number squared and I get this number squared, I get the square root of them to get JG. So JG is equal to the square root of 30.8 squared plus 48 squared. So it is equal to 61.6. Okay, girls? JG is equal to 61.6. And JG is equal to HK because both of them are diagonals and the diagonals in the rectangle are congruent. Since JG is equal to 61.6, so HK is equal also to 61.6. Okay, I will erase now. Okay, a rhombus is another special quadrilateral. A rhombus is a quadrilateral with 4 congruent sides. All the sides of the rhombus are equal, like the square. Okay, like the square. So the first property, if a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then it is a parallelogram. Okay, if a parallelogram is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular. So here I got a new property that the diagonals of the rhombus are perpendicular to each other. AC is perpendicular on BD. If a parallelogram is a rhombus, then each diagonal bisects each of opposite angles here. If a parallelogram is a rhombus, then each diagonal bisects a pair of opposite angles. The diagonal here bisects the angle. Bisects the angle means It divides the angle into two equal sides. So this diagonal here that I have BD, it divides angle B into two equal angles, 1 and 2. And also BD, the diagonal, divides angle D into two equal angles, 5 and 6. Okay, 1 and 2 is equal to 5 and 6. Okay, what about AC? Look, girls, they are colored in red. Colored in red means they are all equal to each other. 1 and 2 is equal to 6 and 5. What about the other diagonal, AC? It bisects angle A and angle C. So when it bisects angle C, it divides angle C into 3 and 4. Angle 3 and angle 4. And it divides angle A into angle 7 and 8. Angle 3 and angle 4 is equal to angle 7 and angle 8. So what is new here in the rhombus? The rhombus is a special parallelogram. The rhombus is a special parallelogram. All the sides of the rhombus are congruent. All the sides of the rhombus are congruent. Okay, girls? Not every opposite sides. No, all the sides are congruent. Okay. What else we learned? We learned that the diagonals of the rhombus are perpendicular on each other. AC is perpendicular on BD. What else we have learned? We learned that the diagonals bisects the angle. Bisects the angle means that the angle is divided into two equal angles. The angle is divided into two equal angles. Okay, let's solve this one. RSTV is a rhombus. Wait here, girls. I have an important part here. Like a rectangle, a rhombus is a parallelogram. So you can apply the properties of the parallelogram to rhombuses. So rectangles and rhombuses are parallelogram. So you can apply the properties of parallelogram to rhombuses. Okay, example 2. RSTV is a rhombus. Find each measure. RSTV is a rhombus. Find each measure. Okay. They want to get VT. Okay, as we said that all the sides of the rhombus are congruent. So, what is given here? Only two sides are given for me. Okay, I will take them, I will pick them because all the sides of the rhombus are equal. So I will take ST and SR. ST and SR, they are equal to, ST is equal to 4x plus 7 and SR is equal to nx minus 11. So 4x plus 7 is equal to nx minus 11. So when I subtract 4x from both sides, then I subtract divide by 5 and so on. So x is equal to 3.6. So I'm going to substitute the value of x in the sides. Since VT is equal to ST and is equal also to SR, so VT is equal to 4x plus 7. I'm going to substitute the value of x by 3.6. So 4 multiplied by 3.6 plus 7 is equal to 21.4. Okay, girls? So again, what we learned new in the rhombus, we learned that the rhombus is a parallelogram. So I'm going to apply all the properties of the parallelogram to the rhombus. What else I learned in the rhombus? I learned that the diagonals of the rhombus are perpendicular on each other. What else I learned in the rhombus? I learned that the diagonals of the rhombus bisect the angles. What is the meaning of bisect the angle? Means that each angle is divided into two equal angles. Okay. RSTV is a rhombus. Find each measure. Angle WSR. WSR. This angle is required. This one. WSR. Okay, how I will get it? Angle SWT is equal to 90. Where is WST? SWT. This one is equal to 90. Yes, this one is equal to 90. Why? Because the diagonals of the rhombus bisects each other. So, yes, this one is equal to 90. Okay. So, 2y plus 10 is equal to 90. Substitute. Y is equal to, substitute here 2y for this angle. So subtract negative 10 from both sides, then divide 2 by in the two sides. So y is equal to 40. So then I'm going to substitute the value of y. Then I will get here angle WSR. WSR is equal to angle TSW. This one is equal to this one. The orange one is equal to the red one. So, since I got the value of y, so I'm going to substitute it in the orange angle. So y plus 2 is equal to 40 plus 2. And since the diagonal bisects the angle into two equal sides, so the red one is equal to the orange one. So it is equal to 42. Again, girls, I'm going to repeat it again. I have here angle S. Let me call it in colors so it will be easier, so we will not say too many letters. Okay. The green angle is right angle. Why right angle? Because the diagonals of the rhombus form a right angles because they are perpendicular on each one. So on each other. So the green angle, it is given that it is 2y plus 10. It is given already that it is 2y plus 10. So, and it is also 90 because it is perpendicular on each other. So 2y plus 10 is equal to 90. So I got the value of y. I got the value of y. When I got the value of y, I'm going to substitute it in the orange angle. Why in the orange? Because the orange is given. It is y plus 2. It is given. So I'm going to substitute the value of y in the orange angle. So the orange angle is equal to 42. And one of the properties of the rhombus that the diagonal bisects the angle into two equal angles. So the red is equal to the orange. So the red is equal to 42. So angle WSR is equal to 42. Okay, the last part here is the square. A square is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles and 4 congruent sides. So the square take a property from the rhombus and take a property from the rectangle. The property from the rhombus is the 4 sides are congruent. And the property from the rectangle that the 4 angles are 90 degrees. So a square is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles and 4 congruent sides. In the exercise, you will show that the square is a parallelogram, a rectangle, and a rhombus. So the square has the properties of all the 3. The square is a parallelogram, so it will take all its properties. And the square is a rhombus, so it will take all its properties. And the square is a rectangle, so it will take all its properties. Okay, girls, here. Show that the diagonals of square A, B, C, D are congruent, perpendicular, bisectors of each other. I want to show that the diagonals of A, B, C, D are congruent, perpendicular bisectors of each other. How I will show this? The diagonals are A, C, and B, D. How I will get the measure of A, C? By the rule that I told you yesterday. AC. So I will use ordered pair of A and ordered pair of C. Okay? X2 minus X1. X2 is 2, X1 is minus 1. So 2 minus minus 1 squared plus Y2 minus Y1. Y2 is 7, Y1 is 0. 7 minus 0 squared is equal to square root of 58. The other diagonal BD. BD is equal to B and D, the ordered pair, B and D. So B, x2 minus x1, x2 is 4, x1 is minus 3. So 4 minus minus 3 squared plus y2 minus y1, y2 is 2, y1 is 5. So 2 minus 5 squared. When I finish my calculations, it will be square root of 58. So the measure of the diagonal AC is square root of 58, and the measure of the diagonal BD is the square root of 58. So since AC is equal to BD, so AC is congruent to BD. So I proved the first one, which showed that the diagonals of square ABCD are congruent. So I proved that they are congruent. How I proved them? That I got their measure and their measures are equal. Square root of 58, both of them. Okay, show that AC and BD are perpendicular. How I will show that they are perpendicular? Let's see the slope. Slope of AC, the diagonal. Slope, change of y over change of x. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1 in AC. So I will use the ordered pair of A and C. y2 minus y1, 7 minus 0. x2 minus x1, 2 minus minus 1 is 7 over 3. Slope of BD. Slope of BD, I will do the same. And then I will get negative 3 over 7. What I found here? I found 7 over 3, and I found the inverse of 7 over 3, which is negative 3 over 7. Since 7 over 3 and negative 3 over 7, when I multiply them together, is equal to negative 1. So AC is perpendicular of BD. One of the rules of the slopes, when the two slopes are inverse to each other, 7 over 3, 3 over 7, and inverse of the sign also, so the two slopes are inverse of each other, so the two diagonals are perpendicular of each other. This is also from geometry in grade 7, maybe the second term. I can't know you still remember it or no, but I am revising it now to prove that the two lines are perpendicular on each other. You will get the slope of each line, and if the slope of each line is inverse to the other slope, in other hand, when I multiply the two slopes, I will get negative 1. If I multiply the two slopes and I get negative 1, so they are perpendicular. So now I proved that they are congruent by finding the measure of each diagonal, and the measure of each one is equal to the other, so they are congruent. How I proved that they are perpendicular? By getting the slope of each diagonal. The slope of each diagonal is inverse, and even in the sign it is inverse. So when I multiply the two numbers, I got negative 1. What is left? If left here show that AC and BD bisect each other. Bisect each other, that means each AC and BC is divided into two equal parts. Okay, midpoint of AC and midpoint of BD. Midpoint of AC is, I will use ordered pair of A and C. -1 and 2 over 2. x1 and x2 over 2. 0 and 7, y1 and y2 over 2. How I will get a midpoint of a line by the ordered pair x1 and x2 over 2, y1 and y2 over 2. And I got the ordered pair of the midpoint. How I will get the midpoint of BD? By the same. I will use the ordered pair of B and the ordered pair of D. x1 plus x2 over 2. x1 is -3, x2 is 4 over 2. y2 plus y1, plus y2 over 2, 5 plus 2 over 2. When I finished my calculations, I found that the midpoint of both AC and BD are equal. So when the midpoint are equal, this means that they divide the line into two equal parts. So they bisect each other. I know this part is a little bit hard, but what I want from you, please, girls, repeat this part again when I uploaded the video on YouTube. Okay, repeat it again. Okay, thank you so much, girls, for listening, and see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.